What should you pay attention to at the beginning of getting to know a girl and at the start of a relationship? What mistakes do we men make? What signals and warning signs do we miss right from the start? So, you meet a woman. What do you notice immediately? What should you pay attention to? The first one is lateness. She is always late. The first date, the second, the third. She makes you wait. If a woman does not call, does not write, does not warn you, that is a signal. There is already no respect. Compensation has already begun at your expense. She raises her own value, involves you in waiting, lifts you onto a dopamine wave. We release dopamine from expectations, and she creates this peak, anchoring it to herself. Simply put, she anchors you to a high dopamine level that is associated with her specifically. Therefore, the first thing to pay attention to is systematic lateness and the absence of a basic notification. The second one is initiative. We men often say, "I want initiative, I expect initiative from her." But sometimes, a woman is too initiative-driven. She decides when, where, why. Let's go there. Today we are going here. She calls herself. She writes herself. After the first date, maybe you were not even excited, but she persistently calls. Let's go there. Let's go here. Such initiative easily turns into a highly disadvantageous scenario for you. From my practice, from consultations with clients, this is what it looks like. Such overly initiative women, on their own initiative, very quickly introduce you to families, rapidly enter the home, leave their belongings, and quickly integrate into the inner circle. Then, just as quickly, they independently decide to get pregnant. The man gets married because he considers himself noble. He did not really want to, but had to. And it is not that he especially liked her, she simply did everything herself, here herself, there herself, and your decisions were not taken into account anywhere. As a result, you find yourself dragged into family life. One child is born. Before you realize it, she, on her own initiative, is pregnant a second time. You understand yourself how this often plays out. Nothing good. The question of separation and catastrophe in such a family is only a matter of time. Why? Because as soon as you begin to resist this total initiative, straighten your shoulders and say, no, you get a harsh backlash. And if you completely give away the initiative and think, well, that is how it is, I got such a commanding woman, such commanders very quickly become disappointed. She decides that she has found a weak, passive man and immediately starts blaming you for the same thing. Why can't you say no? Where is your no? Are you a man or not? Real men do not act like that. Think with your own head. Do you not understand yourself? Can you not make a decision? Do you not take responsibility? Accusations, guilt, manipulations come into play. Such relationships also often collapse. Of course, there are always exceptions. Subscribers and clients constantly remind me of this, but I know other cases. Anything can happen. But we are talking about the arithmetic mean, about the average temperature in the ward. From my practice, it is exactly like this. Overly initiative women who immediately take the relationship into their own hands later wear you out. If you do not agree to such a scenario, pay attention to it right away. It is another matter if you are one of those men who is fully immersed in work, in science, and it is convenient for you. Let her make any decisions. We live and that is it. Then you consciously choose such a model, but still, keep your eyes open. The third one is obsessiveness. The woman is too obsessive. She calls herself, writes, does not back off, floods with SMS, sends photos and pictures. Immediately a clingy one. You quickly get tired of this. If the relationship continues and goes further, she begins to isolate. She clings so much that it leads to fusion and violation of boundaries. She will push everything out of your boundaries. Only she will remain. As a result, it becomes suffocating around you. What does it look like in everyday life? Excessive obsessiveness. You did not expect it and did not ask for it. You are already tired, and here comes the endless, how are you? What are you doing? How is your mood? What did you eat? What did you do? Who did you call? Where did you go? Calls without end. Moreover, she comes to your workplace. Moreover, she comes to your home. And I know such cases too. A man has just met her, there was only one date, he did not plan to continue the relationship. He casually mentioned where he works, and the woman shows up at his workplace, behaving as if they are already a couple, as if he is her man. And the poor fellow does not understand where to hide. And then the initiative on her part gains momentum, and everything else goes on in the same way. Now further, what else should one pay attention to at the beginning of relationships? To how quickly a woman moves toward merging. Here is how it looks. There was 1 or 2 dates, there was not even sex, and she is already calling you darling, my love, my dear. And then comes this intimacy, which should not be there yet. She starts giving you advances. Good morning, my love. How are you, my dear, my darling? And here you should become alert. Psychologically, it is very simple. A person works off the advances given to him. A woman calls you her love, and you subconsciously begin to try to live up to that image. You already want to mate her expectations, to be sweet, to be loving, to be generous, to be the very best. Even though you have not made any decision about a serious relationship yet. Only 1 date, 2 dates, and already, my dear, my love. So, without noticing it, you get pulled into the relationship. Of course, there are stories when it is mutual, when it just matches, and from the very first time everything is clear. The man and the woman never part again. We have all heard of such exceptions, but they are exactly that, exceptions. In ordinary life, such quick advances should make you cautious. Further, the opposite of obsessiveness is when a woman suddenly disappears. Yesterday she responded right away. She was bright, emotional, in touch. And then suddenly, she is gone. Half a day, 2, 3, and then she reappears. This is called closer, further. She rocks you emotionally. At first, very close, everything is wonderful, and then she vanishes. You have a sharp hormonal drop. At first, a high level of dopamine, the hormones of joy, and then a sudden low point. You start thinking, what did I do wrong? Where did I fail? What is the reason? And the importance of this woman in your head grows quickly. We value what we lose, so she creates these small losses on purpose. Or, for example, she replies to your messages 2, 3, 5, 6 hours later, or even half a day later. If it is not connected with work where it is impossible to get distracted, she is not a surgeon in the operating room, not a dispatcher at the control panel, then it is not about being busy. Either your importance to her is low, and she answers when she feels like it, or it is also an element of manipulation, and both should make you wary. Next, pay attention when a woman generalizes. Like, all men are like that, all women are like that, all jobs are bad, or all men are jerks, and you are the exception, all women are like bitches and I am the queen. Such generalizations are a warning sign, because later she will put you there too. Today, all men are stingy. Tomorrow you will become a stingy jerk as well. Notice also how she talks about her exes. If she pours dirt, that's bad. That means she will do the same about you. A relationship always involves 2 people. There are always both positives and negatives. If she sees only the negatives and pours out filth, know that later you will be the scoundrel ex. On the other hand, if she starts praising her ex, that is not good either. He was so nice. He bought me things, gave me presents, took me places, made surprises. And at the same time she adds, but I left myself because I did not love him. Seems honest, but in fact she is pushing you into comparison, as if to say, look who I had. Raise your bar and measure up. That is how he did, and you should do the same, but even more, so that I love you. This is a direct raising of her own significance at your expense.
How is it correct? At the beginning of a relationship, an adequate answer to the question about exes sounds like this. Well, it was, and it was. Good, bad, it was all there. We broke up for reasons. That is all. No dirt, no glorification. Later, when the relationship becomes closer, you can discuss the details, the grievances, the nuances. But at the start, under no circumstances. Another moment. If a woman goes into complete adjustment, whatever you say, she agrees. I like this, me too. I love this kind of cuisine, me too. This music is great, I think the same. Constant yes, yes, yes. We are one whole. We have found each other. We are one self for two. This is already a violation of personal boundaries. This is not sincerity. This is adjustment. Very often, this is a feature of a narcissistic personality. First, she will fill all your space, and then she will sharply push you away, from the clouds into the dirt. And one more important signal: constant arguments. If a woman argues about everything, insists on her own, if she always has an opinion, get ready. Later it will be the same, only stronger. This is an endless struggle over who wears the pants in the house. Constant tugging of the blanket, an attempt to dominate, an attempt to always put her opinion above yours. Arguments just for the sake of winning. Of course, this indicates a high degree of masculine energy in a woman. With such women, it is difficult, and it is visible right away, even at the beginning of dating. On the first date, it already starts to show. She says, "No, I want it this way. I disagree." This is the direct opposite of complete merging, and here it is important to look for the golden mean. On one side, complete merging. On the other, I am not like that. I argue. I insist on my own. I want something different. You talk to her about Thomas. She talks to you about Jeremiah. You invite her to eat. She says, "No, I do not want pizza today." You invite her for meat. She says, "I do not eat meat." You invite her to the cinema. She says, "I do not want melodrama. I want horror." And so constantly. Continuous confrontation. With such relationships, it is very difficult, and this almost always slips through at the beginning. But men close their eyes to this, because at the start it all seems cute. And when she does not call back or acts cold, the man thinks, well, we are not close yet. When she gets too involved in merging, well, that is because she fell in love strongly. And all of this seems cute to us. We have found each other. We are two halves of one whole. But this is exactly what you should pay attention to. What seems cute at the beginning very often later turns into problems. And also, remember, if something irritates you at the beginning of a relationship, even just a little, even the smallest note of irritation appears, that seed will grow over time into a huge fruit. From a small problem will come a big catastrophe. Very often men tell me, "It bothered me in the beginning, I noticed it, it irritated me, it caused protest, but I kept silent. I thought, well, maybe something is wrong with me, maybe she is right." So there is no point in guessing who is right and who is not. The fact is that if it gets to you, later it will become an irreconcilable contradiction. Therefore, it is better to talk everything over at the beginning. If it does not go away, is not resolved, draw conclusions. Next, look at the woman's circle, at her friends, because a king or a queen is made by the entourage. Tell me who your friend is, and I will tell you who you are. If her friends are escorts, or Instagrammers, or those who spend days only grinding men's bones, draw conclusions. People are drawn to each other by interests. A family-oriented woman will not have escort friends. A normal woman will not have friends who drink on a bench every day or brag about how they stripped another man. This apple always falls from its own apple tree. Look at what apple tree this apple is from.
The same applies to the family. Pay special attention to the presence of a father. A woman who grew up without a father often knows very well how to quickly charm a man. She can enter into a relationship brightly, give out a lot of promises, and promise everything at once. But when it comes to actually living together, she does not understand how. I have seen many like this. They enter into a relationship beautifully, but then it becomes boring and uninteresting. They do not know how to interact with a man in everyday life. During the candy bouquet period, everything is great. Hormones, emotions, courtship. The man is loved, appreciated, respected. But hormones inevitably decline. Everyday life enters the relationship, and there, failure. There they no longer know how to behave. The complaints begin. You have changed. You have become boring. You give too little attention. I do not have enough emotions. They need a constant holiday, and they do not understand ordinary life, that a man just needs to come home, relax, lie on the couch, think about nothing. This is incomprehensible to them. They expect that the man will entertain them all the time, and when this does not happen, they think that love is gone. And then accusations and devaluation begin,
And one more point. Look at the family programs, at the woman's father and at the grandfather on the maternal side, because a man almost always fits into her family program. If the grandfather was henpecked or an alcoholic, and the father is the same, your fate will most likely be similar. The girl has adopted this scenario and will play it out on you. Look at how the grandmother carried out the maternal program, how the mother continued it. If this repeats from generation to generation, the program is strong, and you will be pulled into the same scenario. If the grandfather was a strong man, if the father was normal, if even the stepfather was an adequate man in the family, most likely the girl's model of relations with the man will be the same. Observe, how did the mother and grandmother treat their men? With what message did they communicate with them? With respect, trust, requests, or with manipulations, complaints, from the position of you must, you are guilty, you do not measure up, all men are bastards. From this too you can understand what scenario awaits you. What is there? I do not know. Or it is bad there. To go home. Expect nothing good from them. Look, you also need to pay attention to the family's values. If the family has traditions, if they gather together, if they have an atmosphere of one for all and all for one, this is a strong, united system. It means that family is really important for the woman. This is a good sign. But if on the contrary, the family is all quarreling, everyone is in conflict with each other, no one communicates with anyone, only plotting mischief, taking revenge on each other, asserting themselves at the expense of others, doing meanness for profit, draw your conclusions. This is something completely different. One situation is when the family is close, they gather for holidays, help each other financially, support each other psychologically, ready to give shelter and give the last they have. Another is when everyone is only for themselves, where there is no warmth, only conflicts. A woman who grew up in the context of strong family traditions, that is a completely different matter. Next, try to look right away. Is the girl a plus or a minus? This is visible immediately in her reactions, how touchy she is, how responsive, how she communicates with people. Even such small things as talking to waiters, salespeople, on the phone. Does she behave condescendingly, patronizingly, aggressively? Does she lash out? Is she constantly dissatisfied with something? Everything is wrong? Very often men say, at the beginning of the relationship, they went with the girl to one restaurant, she did not like anything. They went to another, the same. A third, again, everything was wrong. The food was bad, the waiters were fools, the public was wrong. Then the city is somehow not the right one. Then she was rude to someone. Then she took offense. Then again aggression. This is a minus girl. Look at her hot temper. Hot-tempered women often turn out to be psychopaths. At the beginning of a relationship, when there is a demo mode, when usually only the best is shown, if already during this period touchiness, irritability, hysteria, inconsistency appear, later this will blossom in full force.
But the plus girl is something completely different. She smooths things over, is friendly, feels comfortable in any company, knows how to joke, has fun everywhere. Even if a dish turns out unsuccessful, she takes it with humor. Well, never mind, it happens. Such a girl also brings positivity around her, good friends, easy communication. And this is where men often make a mistake. They see a minus in a woman and begin to blame themselves. Probably, I am not good enough. I did not impress her. Something is wrong with me. And they begin to try harder. Jokes, attention, humor. And she becomes more and more sour. A man's self-esteem drops, and he thinks, it is my fault. No, my friend, it is not you. Something is wrong with her. She is simply a minus girl. Very often, men do not understand how to interact with a woman, what to answer her, how to behave. And here it is important to build a firm masculine position, because a woman will always be testing you, always, to see, is this the man? Is he strong enough? Does he meet my expectations? By default, a woman will make such checks. Therefore, a relationship must be built from a firm masculine position. Now, an important point. If a girl already at the very beginning of a relationship starts setting conditions, the first days, the first weeks of dating, and you already hear, If you go there, then I will not go. If you do not do this, I will leave, either me or your friends. If you do not travel with me, I will go alone. This is unacceptable. This is violence. This is aggression. And with time, it will only get worse. Very often, men deceive themselves. Now, the main thing is to get her into a relationship, and later, I will teach her. Later, she will be different. This is a huge mistake. Nobody changes later. Also, pay attention to how a girl spends her free time, what habits she has. If all her free time is empty conversations with friends, social media, bars, clubs, endless shopping, draw your conclusions. If she has the habit of constantly taking photos of herself, posting everything, chatting with anyone, laughing crudely with her girlfriends, all of this will become part of your life. Today it may seem cute, but tomorrow it will start to irritate. Another matter if she has adequate habits, sports, a dog, books, courses, self-development. Here you already decide what is acceptable for you. For example, for someone it is normal that a girl spends time with her mother, and for someone it is wild. For someone it is fine that she has tarot as a hobby, and for someone categorically not. Look at this immediately. And another thing, bad habits. Very often I see, at the beginning of a relationship, a woman drinks more than a man. The man has a glass of beer while she has 3, then cognac, then something else, and so on constantly. Or smoking. She may say, I already quit. But my friend, do not deceive yourself. Just as she quit, she can start again. Men think, with me she will not drink. I will not allow it. I will make her quit smoking. You will not. Bad habits can only be eliminated when a person decides for themselves to get rid of them. If a girl understands, I am quitting smoking because for my man, smoking is unacceptable. I want to be with him. Then yes, there is a chance. But if she does not make this decision herself, forget it. Ask yourself one question. Is this acceptable to you or not? And decide right away. Do not entertain illusions that later you will set conditions for her and force her to accept your choice. It will not work, my friends. It will not work. I also want to touch on the topic of sex, sexual constitution. Look, if a woman has a high sexual constitution, this is immediately visible. She is always ready for sex, any day and any night. She's active, often has multiple orgasms. At first, a man rejoices. I have found my Cleopatra. But often this turns into that she does not limit herself to one partner. Keep this in mind. If a woman has a low sexual constitution, at the beginning of a relationship, this is also visible. Morning, day, evening, little enthusiasm, almost no initiative, as if sluggish. A man thinks, well, that's fine, means she is faithful, not promiscuous. But often this plays out so that there is little sex at all, and the man feels unloved, unneeded, as if he is doing him a favor. Well, fine, spread your legs. I will do it for you. The man takes offense. Why is it like this? Am I not a man? He wants initiative. He wants the woman to show herself.
Both high and low levels of sexual need can play out in less than the best way. We often tolerate the positive side, but the negatives must be considered in advance, how they will turn into problems. If a woman has a high need and her partner is tired or has difficulties with erection, pressure and accusations are inevitable. You are not a man. You are incapable. And the man collapses psychologically, self-esteem drops, stress lowers libido even more, and the cycle closes. The woman may then go in search of compensation outside of you. And the opposite. If there is a low constitution, constant shortening of intimacy also kills the bond. Attitude toward money is another important marker. Pay attention. Can she share? Does she pay herself? How does she react if you forget your wallet? Sometimes, a woman positions herself as a little queen. I had an ex, he gave me so much, I got used to a certain level. But when it comes to everyday trifles, send me 200 rubles for the phone, buy me coffee, buy me underwear, that is another story. A separate topic is when everything boils down to conversations about money, about money, about money, about money in any situation. If everything for a person revolves around money, it says a lot. Do not devalue money. It is not just paper. Money is your time, your effort, investments, sleepless nights, education, risks.
And if someone constantly tries to demand from you, think about it. If a woman says, "I do not need anything," remember, often it is the opposite. Female psychology loves to do the contrary. The words "I do not need anything" sometimes mask a claim. Pay attention to the behavior of "everyone needs me," to demonstrations of demand, "everyone wants me back," "they promise me mountains of gold." If a woman constantly increases her significance in this way, it is artificial. Most often, such a woman has low self-esteem and she tries to reinforce it with external signals. Men take this at face value and begin to unhealthily exaggerate the significance of this woman in their minds. Track this consciously. Jealousy provocations are a separate tactic. A woman makes moves meant to stir you up, and if you react, it will always be used. The scenario: everyone needs me, grab me, or someone else will. The man panics, hurries, begins to overact, and that is exactly what is wanted from him. Remember, jealousy provocations are a marker of manipulation. Also be careful about how quickly she brings you into the family. You do not have time to recover, and you were already invited to mom and dad, shown the family album, told about future grandchildren, discussing the veil and wedding. If you are not ready, say no. Often at such family gatherings, you are cornered and pressed into a decision. A dozen relatives looking on, and the man feels the pressure. So when is the wedding? Do not panic. Keep boundaries. When the time comes, then we will decide. Manipulations are another important point. If from the very beginning there are tactics, "I am offended and will not talk," "you are a normal person," "you should understand," "you are a real man," all these are ways to push you toward an action you are not ready for. The most common mechanics: imposing guilt, sexual manipulation, intimidation, "you can lose me." If this appears at the beginning, it is a family style, and it will not change by the wave of your will. And the last thing I want to say, your objective significance should be approximately equal or slightly higher. When there is a big social or material difference between partners, most often it plays out badly. If a man has high objective significance, education, income, status, hobbies, friends, and the woman has a completely different story, manipulations, claims, and attempts to compensate at your expense often begin. Very rarely does one partner reach upward. Much more often they pull downward. Therefore, choose a partner from the same stratum. Let the woman be approximately at the same level as you. I believe a man should be slightly higher, but within the limits of one's social and mental stratum. Then there is less chance of chronic conflicts due to different needs, different levels of education, and different understandings of life. These are the beacons to pay attention to at the beginning of a relationship. Men often close their eyes to many things, but forewarned is forearmed. Watch the signs. Click 1, click 2, click 3, and you will build a more realistic picture of the situation and not illusions. Thank you to everyone who liked and subscribed to the channel. What do you think about this? Write in the comments and see you in the next video.